Good evening, everyone. Welcome to America's Third Party. I am David Sponheim, your host. We are doing the show every day, bringing you cutting-edge information and news, current events, link sharing, you name it. Today is Freedom Friday. I'm wearing the Freedom flag. Thank you. We are replete with operators in our rooms, ready to go. So try to be nice. This was a gift from Metanemesis for Christmas, and I thank you very much, Metanemesis. It's an awesome gift. We love the flag because it represents what the American people still value: truth, justice, and the American way. But for most of us, we've become so jaded with the lies and deceit from the fake news, mass media, from the lies that Donald Trump has been spewing, from, the propaganda that they're pushing, that many of us are wondering, how free are we? We've got Hanoi Jane in the background. Remember her? These people gathered together. Joaquin Phoenix, Martin Sheen, and Jane Fonda gathered together for a big climate change protest. But nobody's got the balls to talk about chemtrails. It's ridiculous. All the Democrats refuse to talk about chemtrails. But if you want to talk about stratospheric aerosol injection, oh yeah, that would really help if we could cover the sun and hide it from all the plants. It's absurd. They're mindless. They don't have science behind what they say. They claim they do. Climate change has been going on for hundreds of years. Weather modification has been going on for just the past 50. And we've seen major changes in our climate, no question about it. But none of these people are willing to address the elephant in the closet. Right. It is weather modification. It's what they're doing. Now let's listen into this brief encounter here. We'll have to put up with this just for a bit.
As you all know, we cannot burn all of the coal, the gas, the oil that's in the ground. We cannot burn it all and stay within the parameters of what science tells us we must do.
I struggle so much with what I can do at times. There are things that I can't avoid. I flew a plane out here today, or last night rather, but one thing that I can do is change my eating habits, and so I just want to urge all of you to join me in that, and you as well, Jane, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
We are called to find something in our lives worth fighting for, something that unites the will of the Spirit with the work of the flesh, something...
Go back to West Wing. Really, we don't need your garbage. You Democrats refuse to address the obvious truth that weather modification is climate change. It was not. It was Jane Fonda. Hanoi Jane. None of these Democrats want to address what's right in front of us. Every day, we are seeing sprays going on all over the skies. They even have summits where they meet and talk about weather modification. These are rich people at a summit talking about how they're spraying you like an insect. So it's not something I'm making up, people. I mean, I'm not some whack job like you want to think I am. I'm talking about them literally spraying the skies above us and acting like, no, we're causing it. And somehow we should pay a tax or eat more Beyond Burgers or Impossible Burgers. I mean, it's ridiculous. You can't deny this. Chemtrails are chemicals that are being spewed in the sky, heavy metals that are used to manipulate the weather. It's called weather modification. I'm not making this up. This is real. You can look in the skies yourself and see it. So why are the leaders, including the Democrats, the libtards, why are they lying to us? Why are they putting Greta in front of us and acting like the rich people are going to somehow save the world? How absurd. Greta, it is time for your cameo.
If we can save the banks, if we can save the banks, if we can save the banks, it is, the money is there. If we can save the banks, then we can save the world.
Really? I don't think so. The banks don't give a crap about you. They've been funding industrialization for years. They've been funding the pollution cycle. They've been profiting from the industrialization. They're the ones responsible for cleaning it up, not us, the taxpayers. How dare you? I noticed Sean Penn didn't make it to that event. Yeah. He'll get a lot of flack from the liberal circles, I'm sure. Greta? You have more pictures of Greta? Greta's global warming conference canceled due to subarctic freezing temperatures. Okay. I'll bring it in. Hey, we'll get to the Iranian missile situation in just a second. I talked about it in the pre-show. I didn't want to ignore it, but yeah. Greta's global warming conference canceled due to subarctic freezing temperatures. A symposium was canceled in Michigan. Temperatures dipped below minus 50 degrees. Yeah. And she, of course, would blame it on climate change. No, they've created the atmospheric changes, the polar vortex. They've created that with weather modification. Let's not kid ourselves. We don't do candy in the big bowl. We actually just take some things that we get. You know, when we go to a restaurant, we'll get some candy. We'll put it out on the table. Nobody eats it much. Sarah eats the candy. I don't eat any candy. I like very little bit of sweets. I'll eat natural sugars like dates and things like that. I'm not a big sweet person. How dare you? How dare you quote her? I don't know if they make living room coffee tables anymore. What year are you living in, Milrose? 1975? Okay, let's go to the story from McDundee. I just want to get that climate change thing out of the way because a lot of the Democrats don't really understand that it's weather modification. It's not some miraculous solution cap and trade's going to solve. We just have to stop the chemtrails. We have to innovate. We have to come up with ways to fix the air pollution. So I'm really on a limb here talking about the important things like air filtration. Yeah. Water filtration. Ending the chemtrails. Yeah, I'm really on a limb, but nobody gives me any coverage whatsoever, none. Yeah, see, it spells fan, F-A-N, fan. Anyway, here we go. U.S. reportedly targets another. I don't know if I know what to say here. Let's just process this. Okay. Another top Iranian military figure, Abdul Reza Shalai. Now, Trump said today that he wasn't really the one who made this whole thing happen. It was the Republicans he did it. He did it because the Republicans wanted. No, I just took a CoQ10 and a D6. B12 is doing really great. My texture looks good. Okay. Another guy, so they're going to pick another guy from the hat of people they're going to target, all the while trying to create a war diversion to keep our mind off of what's happening. Donald Trump is being impeached. He's going to be facing some questions that he himself won't be able to answer. Impeachment is the real thing that they really should be discussing, but instead, oh, we've got another Iranian to target. Why don't we deal with the problems at home with Donald Trump before we start targeting Iranians? Hello? The Washington Post reported on January 10th that U.S. forces tried to target Abdul Reza Shalai, a senior Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard official. Shalai was a ringleader in the last state-sponsored attempt to carry out a terrorist attack on U.S. soil. In 2011, he and a small number of fellow officers tried to assassinate Abdul al-Jaber at the Washington restaurant. The plot was aided by Mansour al-Barzara, who was arrested by the FBI. Why are we dealing with this now? I smell a diversion. Yeah, it's the war diversion again. They do it all the time. They think we're all like brain dead, willing to just, go wherever they tell us to go, like we were all Beavis and Butthead. Okay, let's talk about Iran now instead of the impeachment. It's ridiculous. Of course Donald Trump is guilty as charged and needs to be removed from office. The war diversion isn't going to cut it anymore. I'm sorry. Nice try, though. Trump is going to invoke the executive privilege to block Bolton's testimony. Now, talk about obstruction of justice. This is just one of the many cases of obstruction Donald Trump has been involved in. But he wants to hide the truth so bad he's willing to shut up Bolton, claiming he knows too much about his administration. Here we are trying to find out if Donald Trump is making huge errors of judgment, impeachable offenses, and he wants to block people that were close to him from testifying, like Bolton, like Mick Mulvaney, like Donald McGahn. I mean, this is a classic obstruction of justice. I don't even see how many of you Republicans can stand there in defense of Donald Trump at this point. He's just doing it in your face. He's laughing at you. And instead of prosecuting Hillary Clinton or Joe Biden, not one single prosecution has happened. Donald Trump hasn't filed charges against any of those people. Isn't that weird? You people claim he's going after the deep state, and I tell you he's not, because he hasn't prosecuted anybody. Well, could you explain? Maybe you retardicans could tell me why he has not prosecuted anyone. I'm waiting for an answer. If you have any answers other than, well, Donald's a very smart man and he knows what he's doing. No, I really want to know why he hasn't prosecuted Hillary Clinton for the Haitian debacle, where the Clinton Foundation got $5.4 billion unnecessarily, illegally. Why hasn't he? It's a classic case of, you could easily prosecute her for that. I understand they've got a RICO investigation into the Clintons they haven't even gone live with. Why hasn't Donald done anything? I don't get it. No, Nancy Pelosi has not taken away his ability to prosecute. No. William Barr could easily open up an investigation into Hillary Clinton and hasn't done it in 3 years. Well, we won't be regulating CBD oil. No, less regulation the better. I'm not a Democrat, okay? I'm not going to put rules and regulations and mandatory bureaucracy on your tax dollars. YouTube is censored, and it shouldn't be. We need to get them to respond to a different rule. There was a rule that would prevent YouTube from censoring people. It was a very important rule at one time in our history. I talked about it last night. It's called the Fairness Doctrine. And it would have been very good if we'd had the Fairness Doctrine in place to deal with that, but we don't. We don't have that. We have nothing. The Fairness Doctrine stipulates that our country has to do what's in the public interest. Networks have to do what's in the public interest. Instead, we have a bunch of elitists that control the Google network, the ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, CNN network, and we've got a lot of really, really rich crackheads running our most important technologies. So, a third party is perhaps the only way out of this problem that we have. I'm not trying to, push the envelope here, but I think a third party is perhaps the only way out. So, let's be real here. They're not going to be accountable for all the mistakes they've made. The Democrats and Republicans are the same that way. They're just going to continue to do the dirty deeds that they do dirt cheap. And these people are like prostitutes. They'll work for nothing. There's 25 people overseeing Lockheed Martin. They're congressional members in the House that oversee military production and the safety factors of various planes, like the F-22. All 25 people overseeing the F-22 get an annual donation from Lockheed Martin of $6,000 for their re-election. That's a classic case of what they're doing. So Lockheed Martin pays about $3 million out a year to congressional members to get reelected. Out of that, they get $35 billion in contracts. Do you see what I'm saying? So we have whores working in Congress who will work for nothing. For $5-6 grand, they'll do whatever somebody like Lockheed Martin tells them to do. That's got to stop. Now, they've got a draft right now where when you turn 18, you have to sign up. Yeah, and you can... I don't even support the Selective Service at all. I will rescind the Selective Service process by executive order. There's no need for a Selective Service process where you young men have to worry about going off to war. We won't even need a standing army by the time the RoboCops are up and ready. We'll have the robotic soldiers that will be going into the field to do the work of dangerous work of managing situations that may be a conflict that we may get involved with. I'm not a warring person. I'm a non-interventionist. I don't want to start wars with other countries. So we don't need a draft. And the past 20 years or more, actually more like 40 years, we've had the draft. And we don't need it. We don't even need selective service. We've had the draft option. Yeah. I was around in the 60s, and I saw people really, really worried about going off to die in Vietnam. I was a kid at the time, and I knew how much stress there was when we saw that draft video that came on, or the film that came on the screen on TV for the draft board. It was scary. I have a copy of it right now. CBS made a copy of it, but I'm not going to play it because CBS will monetize it, believe it or not. I'm not going to raise the drinking age. We'll keep it right where it is at every state level. I think a lot of you are regulation happy and you want rules, and I'm not about regulations or rules. I'm about opportunity. We need to get more opportunity for the American people to get jobs, to fix up houses, to improve their life, to start small businesses. So what I'm all about is rebuilding the very backbone of our production cycle in America, which has really taken a big loss. We've seen many people lose their jobs over the many years, and now they're saying that unemployment's at the all-time lowest, 3.5%. I don't know where they're getting that statistic. It's fake. It's coming from the analysis of people collecting unemployment insurance. Everyone knows you collect unemployment insurance for about 24 weeks and then you stop. And then people are still out of work, but they don't qualify as being unemployed once they stop collecting unemployment insurance. So they've got this statistical abnormality that has been manipulated over the many years. We are really at 45% unemployment, not 3.5%, like they're saying. We are at 45%. There's 97 million people out of a job that could work, out of a potential work population of 215 million people. I'm taking out old people and young people from the statistic, but out of 215 million people that can work, 97 million people don't. That's 45% unemployment, folks. I'm not making this up. Our government's lying to us. They're claiming the economy is doing really well. Well, what did the Dow do today? Let's take a look. It's down 133 points to 28,823. So it didn't make it to the top, didn't get over 29,000. It took a dive. There it is. That's fake. The Dow Jones has been faked by people like Mnuchin, our Secretary of Treasury, who recently claimed that $1.5 trillion that's missing from our budget somehow is in the banks around the world. Yeah, so he claims. Okay, let's get into the show, talk about what's going on in your life. Yeah, I think that Mnuchin may have printed up 1.5 trillion and stuck it in the stock market. I mean, what else can I say? The money's gone. We don't know what happened to that money. I wouldn't know the answer to that, Bengalitis. I'm not an expert on intestinal worms. And Willie, could you keep it down on the anal itching thing? Yeah, nobody really worries about that right now, unless, of course, go to a doctor, go to a proctologist, okay? This is not the place to talk about this stuff. Well, let's be clear. Gothic is in the room now. You took over for Bob. Gothic. Let's see your mug there, buddy. Put it on the screen. Right on. Look at you. You look all you're like the Knights Templar. Oh, you're fixing your hair. Hang on. Let me take. Okay, you're looking good. All right on. All right. Haven't seen you here for a while. Yeah, was that misanthropy? I don't think it was. Yeah, it looked like Hitler. Oh, you've got some other stories? McDundee has something on Jared, and Medveral has ISIS praises U.S. assassination of Iranian General Soleimani as divine intervention that will help them rise again. Well, that's a little convoluted, don't you think? ISIS is praising that. Hang on, I've got to mute his mic. Thank you. Sorry. It's Iranian military. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Islamic State terrorists rejoiced at the death of General Soleimani at the hands of his American allies, according to a weekly newspaper. Well, it's ironic that Soleimani was working with U.S. forces to get rid of ISIS. That's kind of strange that he would be targeted as some sort of a bad person. That's not really relevant. So ISIS is now angry at him because he tried to stop ISIS. Soleimani was instrumental in trying to stop ISIS, and then he was targeted by the U.S. I'm all confused too, Spade. I know. This is almost as disturbing as when John McCain met with ISIS forces and claimed that they were good guys, and they're all seen in the background as being good guys. Well, our government, let me clarify this for you, because I think a lot of you are a little confused. Our government started funding terrorism when they deposed Muammar Gaddafi from power in Libya. CBS News even talked about how the leader that was installed in place of Muammar Gaddafi was an Al-Qaeda force. He was Al-Qaeda. So our government somehow at that time tacitly allowed the CIA to fund Al-Qaeda to take out Muammar Gaddafi. That's how it all started, really. It may have started even earlier with various coups with our government, but they started doing it then, and now they think they can do it again and again. So when you say ISIS, yeah, there may be people working with the CIA in ISIS. That's how confusing things are now. It's no longer what you thought it was. It's kind of weird. Who is Jared Kushner? All right, he's a guy who tried to open up communications with the Kremlin, and not even Robert Mueller knew about this. It was all over the news, but even Mueller didn't know about this. But here's a study of the Kushner family at the New Yorker. The Kushner family history from lying on immigration forms to become major Democratic donors often seems at odds with the initiatives Jared supports in his father-in-law's administration. Wow, it's a big article they have on this guy. Last month, Vladimir Putin arranged an all-hands oligarch meeting. As one of the oligarchs in attendance, Petra Avin described it as the special counsel Robert Mueller's investigators to discuss U.S.-Russian relations. At least 3 of Russia's most prominent oligarchs subsequently tried to solidify ties with the man who seemed their perfect counterpart, a young American oligarch whose family had grown wealthy with a healthy assist from government programs. Jared Kushner. No wonder he tried to open up a secret communication line with the Kremlin. This is illegal what he did, by the way. Nobody seems to be calling him on it. You got fancy fonts. That's kind of cool, Trump Tardo. Good for you. Aren't you special? When questioned by Mueller's investigators, Kushner went out of his way to convey the idea that he thought little of the meeting with Gorkov, seemingly in an effort to bolster his argument that he had in no way conspired with Russian state actors during the 2016 presidential election. According to the Mueller report, Kushner stated in an interview that he did not engage in any preparation for the meeting, and no one in the transition team even did a Google search for the Gorkov's name. But Gorkov had prepared. He carried with him 2 gifts that showed he'd conducted a careful and deliberate investigation into the young man he was meeting. One was a piece of art from a village where his grandparents were from, and the other was a bag of dirt from the same village. The selection of a bag of dirt as a gift was particularly resonant. Jared's grandmother, Ray Kushner, was one of the few hundred survivors of the Nazis in this ghetto. That I don't really need to read more about this, but it does seem like Kushner has been groomed by the Russian oligarchs. Whoa. And let's not forget, he works still to this day. He's working for... I'm not muted. No, sound is up. Yeah, poor guy couldn't get his audio speakers to work. Yeah, apparently Kushner has been working on the side with Russian oligarchs all the while. And you know who handles all of our top intel from our military leaders? Jared Kushner, a man who's working with Russian oligarchs. Now, Trump doesn't take intel reports. He said, I'm too busy. I don't want to be bored. He really doesn't. I'm not obsessed with Russian oligarchs. They're infesting our government, you idiot. No, I'm not obsessed. I'm trying to make you retardicans aware that Trump is working with Russian oligarchs. And Jared Kushner is one of them, not Don Kirshner. Don Kirshner, the record promoter, is not the one we're talking about. All right, let's move on. Yeah, that's not funny. I'm not obsessed, and you have been muted for that reason. Debbie, are you from the Philippines? There are a lot of American men in here who are looking forward to meeting you. I think Mad Dog, you're a U.S. citizen, right? Yeah, some of you are being suspectly trolled by women, Asian women looking for husbands in America. Hell no? Okay, thank you, Debbie. We just like to filter and make sure that Asian women aren't in here trying to hit on American men. It's okay. We know that happens. You really want me to take a picture here? Okay. The look of chemtrails is the look of sheep. That's right. Chemtrails on your mind. I see that. Look at the fluffy chemtrail sheep. Yeah, aren't they pretty? Meh. Are you one of those chemtrail sheep that believes that chemtrails are contrails? I bet you are. Yeah, Gothic's got some pretty cool background images there. You're liking them. Yeah, sound is good. Everything's good. We're all happening right now. Okay, here's a story that just came in. Military and police are on high alert in Oman's capital after the death of Sultan Qaboos, who left no heir to the throne. Breaking news. Okay, this is from RT, so we can't really... It could be Russian propaganda. Well, obviously it's not breaking fast enough. No, you don't. So you're not in any way married right now to anyone in the room. Good. Mad Dog will be back later, Debbie. I muted him for a while, but he's the one guy that'll probably make you an American. No, chemtrails really do exist. You're a real idiot, guest 856 over at iBlog. Okay. Wow. If you want to go check out my website, chemtrailparty.com, that'll give you a little hint as to what chemtrails are. You apparently don't want to research this, so like many people, you want to assume it's a contrail. Yeah. Whatever. Chemtrailparty.com. I made a website. Go to the link page. You'll be blown away. I don't want to spend time telling you about chemtrails. I just did that. No, chemtrailvapors.com? No, chemtrailparty.com. That your entire website was censored by Mark. Okay, here we are. Army and security forces are on high alert, according to a source, in Oman, the capital. Yep, lots of military. Look at all the military vehicles that are lining the road right there. Okay, so this is a video from Oman showing how many people are on high alert. If the ruling family cannot come to an agreement within 3 days, a 1999 statute requires a committee of military leaders, court officials, and lawmakers to enthrone a person named by the former sultan in private, stored in a sealed letter. Well, I certainly hope the Sultan of Oman, Qaboos, didn't name me as his successor. I'd hate to have to travel all the way out there and be their leader. I'm not even Omanian. Did you hear that... Yeah, Ilhan Omar getting money from Qatar for her re-election. And nobody in Trump's administration is prosecuting Ilhan Omar. We know for a fact she got money from Qatar. Qatar for you. I know a lot of money's in Oman. This military takeover could lead to something bad. I know. G. Gordon Liddy, the Democratic Party is corrupt. I agree. It's not my party. I left that party a long time ago. They're in total denial over there. They won't even talk about climate change. Well, they talk about it, but they want to tax you for it. They don't want to talk about the reality that we are all inundated with chemicals being dumped on us. Hey, today is a very sad day for rockers. During our pre-show, we played some amazing work by Rush. Yeah, their lead drummer has died. Yeah, 67 years old. Neil Peart has died. Great guy, had brain cancer, suffered 3 years battle with brain cancer. He was 67. Famous for his song Tom Sawyer. We played it earlier. That's all I can play without violating copyright law. So he has passed away, everyone. He's free from the pain of brain cancer. All-time Rush drummer Neil Peart, dead at age 67. We'll play some Skinner later, okay, Mad Dog? Hey, I never disagreed with you that the Democrats are the problem. I agree with you, but you keep calling me a Democrat and I'm not. All right. We'll keep Rush on tap for later. We have a couple things on tap. This new song given to us called Technotronic, Pump Up the Jam. Okay, we'll play this for you as well. And all that starts at 10 o'clock. So if you want to set a timer, go get some sleep, come back. 10 o'clock Pacific time is when I start the big jams. It goes all the way into the evening till 1 in the morning. We got 3 hours of video entertainment. Link providers that give me links during the show, we get to play those links without having to worry about censorship from YouTube. The main reason why Hillary was not prosecuted has already been one system is corrupt. Indicted the Benghazi disaster will break the Pentagon's back because they're following orders. No one will go testify at trial where they can be suicidal. That's no reason to protect Hillary. Now you're defending Donald Trump for not prosecuting Hillary, which is really a sickness. You're saying the two wrongs equal a right. That's not right. Donald Trump should have prosecuted Hillary, and he didn't. He should have prosecuted Barack Obama on the birth certificate, and he didn't. He should have charged them both, Barack Obama and Michelle, with fraud because Barack Obama is married to a transgender. We should have been told about that. But no, we were never told that he was married to a transgender. Yeah. We keep getting the runaround from Donald Trump. He doesn't prosecute anybody. He just says he was going to. Well, here is a clip of Michelle Obama dancing on the Ellen DeGeneres show. You tell me that Michelle Obama is a woman, and take a close look at the groin area. Yeah, unless that was a battery pack from her microphone or a loose Kotex pad, I don't know. It sure looks like something, you know what it looks like, right? Anyway, I don't want to belabor the point. I've already done that 1,000 times. I know. I just wanted to share with you that information. Michelle is pretty hung, yeah. Hey, you're in the show too, Bob. Look at that. Bob's up. Bob's out eating his apple now. That's good. Healthy sugars, Bob. And then Gothic is just so burnt out, he might just, decide to join the order of Gothic people. You can tell he's just like, gosh, I gotta do something with my Gothicness. Cool setup you got there in that nice bungalow in West Virginia. Oh, and you go, dude. Yeah, we got people in the show now. Bob is chatting and Gothic is there. And And you're eating too. Well, we tried to inform Bob about not eating too much sugar. But as you can see, he's eating a nice piece of pizza and a carbohydrate. And we want everyone to live as long as they can. And Gothic, if you shaved your mustache, you'd look like Adolf Hitler. I know. People probably tell you that all the time. Oh, yeah, you look just like Adolf Hitler. And many of you are drinking fluoridated drinks, so don't worry about that. Okay. Carbs turn into sugar. That's right, Debbie. Debbie, you're not a downer. Thank you. Thanks for coming in here. Well, Bob, we're just looking after you, you know? Yep, shrimp is one of your favorite foods, but it's high in cholesterol. Good point. Although shrimp has glucosamine in it, which is good for your muscle tissue. Believe it or not, I just don't overdo shrimp. Yeah, you can overdo shrimp pretty bad. I did at a restaurant, a Chinese restaurant. I had a little too much shrimp, and I felt a little weird afterward. I was like, "Yeah, David, you shouldn't binge eat this shrimp." You know. Here's a marijuana activist that is showing off a bong. That I'm going to show it to you. He built a bong out of a leaf blower. Here he is. Yeah, I want to see the love cannon action.
You got the little love cannon, it's going to be blasting up. Probably about 5 or 10 pounds, and it's blasting in the atmosphere. So this is a love kiss cannon. Take one at the 420 and pull that thing, pull it up.
Dude, that's a lot of bud to be putting in that bong.
This is a love bud love cannon at the cannabis 420 love weed.
Then he lights it up and he blows it on everybody. This is one case of air pollution where you just cannot get enough buddage, you know? Anyway, well, isn't that funny? Yeah, he's probably one of the many pot growers out there that has too much buddage. They don't know what to do with it. There's so much bud out there now. There's no evidence that pot kills. No, in fact, none. No evidence, none whatsoever, no. In fact, marijuana has been known to benefit your lungs. It's not like those old cigarette commercials where, like, Ronald Reagan would remember, he talked about saying how great cigarettes were. You've probably seen the Reagan ads. Yeah, here's one of them. Here's a Ronald Reagan ad from the 50s. Well, my cigarette is as mild cigarette. That's why Chesterfield is my favorite. Well, Nancy and I don't smoke anymore, but we certainly did endorse it at one time. They used to say that smoking was healthy for you. They said that it would prevent illness. I'm not kidding. But I'm not saying that about pot. No. CBD oils and THC have a medicinal effect, and that's why I'm going to remove marijuana from the list of controlled substances. Thank you very much. I got to replace that battery on the applause. It's really, really old. No, you cannot punch a person for farting near you. No, it's not considered, flatulence is not considered an assault or battery. So if you're next to a person who happens to be letting out a really wet one, and it's like splashing on you, that would be considered battery. Now there's a guy that walked up to a woman in San Francisco about a month ago with a bucket full of diarrhea, and he threw it at the woman. That's battery. But San Francisco is so full of shit that they can't even prosecute people. Yeah, the guy got off on it. I mean, sure, he got off on it somehow, but he got off on the charges. The woman, however, had to be taken into a clinic and be tested for Hep C. He literally had a bucket of his diarrhea and he threw it at this woman. Nancy Pelosi's not taking care of her home district. They pay $750,000 a year to have a cleanup of crap along the street, and it doesn't even keep up with the crap app that they have. There's an app in San Francisco. put it on your iPhone and you can take pictures of crap on the street and it automatically sends an email to the city and the geolocates the crap. Pretty cool app for people who have the crap app, but yeah, it's still, they can't even keep up with it because Donald Trump hasn't really led on the issue of homelessness. In fact, he rarely ever mentioned it. Now he's now recanting what he said last week, saying the federal government was going to take over the homelessness problem in California. Now he's saying that California should handle it. He's all over the place. Now, according to this story from Raw Story, just came in, it's raw. We're going to throw it on the Barbie and cook it for a little bit, like they did in Australia recently. Trump ordered Soleimani killing to shore up impeachment support from the hawkish GOP senators, according to a report. Yeah, this is really weird. It's like he's not even his own man. Now he's trying to kiss the senators' ass who want to attack Iran. President Donald Trump has reportedly been telling associates his order to assassinate Iranian General Qasem Soleimani was related to his pending Senate impeachment trial. The Trump administration has justified the order by claiming Soleimani was plotting an unspecified but imminent attack on U.S. interests. But the president has privately admitted that the airstrike was related to his impeachment. Mr. Trump, after the strike, told associates he was under pressure to deal with General Soleimani from GOP senators he views as important supporters in his incoming impeachment trial in the Senate. Well, he pissed a lot of them off when he pulled our troops out of Syria, kissing Russia's ass. So maybe they are asking him to do something like actually prosecute Iran. Yeah. He might be right. I don't know, but it's one thing is clearly obvious. He's not making his own decisions. He's sucking up to hawkish Republican senators that are telling him what to do. Now, that is an example of an absolute imbecile for a president. He's not his own man. He's sucking up all over the place. Jane, don't lose your time with that gay. Talk about me. Okay. Oh, one mama, I can't talk about you. Yeah, that was my Periscope audience. Somehow it disappeared when I stopped talking about Rush. Dave, can you play the video? Seems like sport venue. Play the song, specialty song. I don't know. Is it copyrightable? Neil Diamond's Sweet Caroline? No, I won't play that right now. No. I heard Neil Diamond was struggling with his health. Let's take a look. Neil Diamond health. A lot of people are dropping left and right. You know, he's got Parkinson's disease. He was diagnosed a year ago. Neil was in the middle of his 50th anniversary tour, but he had to cancel a series of concerts due to his health conditions. So Neil Diamond is not going to be singing anymore. Thank you for giving me a, concern. Song, song, song. All right, we're not here to denigrate queers, okay? You keep coming to the show denigrating queers. What's wrong with you? Why are you doing that? Yeah. People who are gay can be gay all they want. It's just you heteros don't have to listen to their stuff. I know, Eric, it's sad because you don't deserve to be attacked in this room. I'm going to mute you again, G. Gordon Liddy. You're looking for trouble. Same with you, Dave Sponham. Thank you. Reptoid says, you think the news is there to inform you? No, it's there to brainwash you. Sarah's here. Thank you, Sarah, for